Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. This is Carol Baskins reporting from Big Cat Rescue, and apparently I've been watching too much Netflix. Today, I want to talk to you about some of our expectations for online discussions, which will also talk about how we're changing our portfolio entries. So I am on our Schoology page. I am currently under the Friday folder for our first week. So as you can see in that folder, I only have two things for you. So I'm going to talk about the first document that's listed there, which will give you our expectations for our online discussions, but it will also give you the grading rubric, so you will know how you'll be assessed. So I'm going to open up that document for you. Okay, so just a couple of things. So before you post your portfolio discussion post, please make sure that you've done all of the required assignments first. So make sure you've done all of the readings, take care of your annotations, watch all of the necessary videos if there are any videos, and then you need to write your own original post before you can view your classmates' post, just so that we have 100% academic honesty. And then just a couple of things. So your original post must be assigned, must meet the assigned due date. And so in order to have the online discussion, which would require everybody to post on each other's work and comment on each other's work, you have to have your post there. If you don't have a post there, no one can comment on each other's work. And so it's really important that everyone have their post posted by the due date. And then make sure that you meet all of the requirements as outlined in the discussion details. And I'm going to show you that next when I open up the other little link that was in that folder. The next requirement is that you share coherent and thought-provoking insights. Really try to be clear and concise in sharing your main ideas, which would include your analysis of that text. And then obviously, because this is written work, we want you to demonstrate proper command of English mechanics and grammar. And so be looking for your capitalization, your spelling, your punctuation, and that type of thing. Then, once you have posted your original post, then you can start reading your classmates' post and also commenting. So to engage in that online discussion, we'd like you to respond to at least 2 to 3 other posts, and then be sure to try to answer any and all questions that the original poster posed within that post. And then if somebody responds to your original post, make sure that you're responding to their questions as well. Okay, that's where the online discussion takes place. If you have a post that generates a lot of responses, you don't have to respond to more than 5 students unless you choose to do otherwise. The next bullet point here just lists things that you should avoid while posting. And so we don't want you to post really superficial comments like, I agree, or I disagree, or nice post, good work this week. We want you to go way more in depth. We want this to be thought-provoking. So again, you will get out of this discussion what you put in. So please try to avoid those superficial comments. We also want you to avoid using slang or inappropriate language. Really try to avoid typing in all capital letters because it appears like you're yelling, so don't do that. I know that this will be really hard for some of you. I'm not going to name any names, Steve or Hunter, but really try to avoid using memes or GIFs in your responses. We still want you to be professional in how you're talking to each other. And then obviously we want you to avoid disrespectful dialogue. So there's no place for name calling, sarcasm, snarkiness, or any other forms of communication that would inhibit a productive discussion. So really try to be as professional as possible when you're doing your online posts. The next page for you will give you the online discussion rubric. So if you want to know how you'll be assessed, you can check out this rubric at a later time. So you'll see that you're going to be evaluated on your preparedness, your participation, the organization and ideas that you're sharing, your reasoning, and then your grammar. So just be aware of those things. I'm going to go back to the top of the page here, and I'm going to show you the other post that I was talking about. And so this is the actual discussion thread. And so I'm going to open this up just so that you can see the expectations and the guidelines here for you. And so I hope that this isn't confusing, but in this one discussion post, you're actually going to be responding to 2 articles that you're reading in your outside reading. So again, you're making one post that addresses 2 of our portfolio readings, okay? Because you're mentioning 2 different readings in one post, I want you to clearly format your post so that we know exactly which analysis belongs to which article. Okay, so consider using a clear header with the title and the author, but then also consider including formatting changes so that we know what you're talking about when. So that you can use bold, you can use italics, underlining, size changes, anything that will make your post really clear to read and follow. So some things that you need to include for your post is I would like you to include the title of the piece that you're responding to, as well as the author's name. And then these 3 bullet points here are actually very similar. They're actually exactly the same as our normal portfolio entries, so this hasn't changed. You're going to include a critical analysis commentary, which will be 150 words. You'll talk about author style and analysis, which will be 75 words, and then give us your personal commentary or your personal reaction to the piece, which will be 75 words as well. You are going to skip the discussion briefing. We're just going to skip that part just to make life easier for us. But then you also need to include one open-ended evaluative question, which is a fancy way of saying write a Socratic seminar question for the reading. Some other requirements, again, I've already said this, but I just want to be clear. Your one post is going to include a response for 2 readings, okay? Your original post should be posted to Schoology by Sunday, April 5th by 11:59 p.m. So that's your portfolio entry. That's when it's due. And then you must comment on at least 2 to 3 peers by Tuesday, April 7th at 11:59. So in between Sunday and Tuesday, that's when the conversation should actually be taking place. So create a dialogue, build off of each other's ideas. Again, try to avoid those superficial comments, try to engage in an online conversation. And then the last thing that's listed here is just a formatting example so that you can see how I've used formatting choices. I used bold and I used a bigger font size for the title, but this just shows you how you can use some of those formatting changes to make your post as clear and easy to read as possible. So I decided to make my the title of the selection and the author bold, and I made it a bigger font size than the rest of the type. Then I decided to use bold for every piece of the different parts that I was going to be talking about. So again, because you're responding to 2 different readings on one post, using formatting changes is going to be very important to keep that really clear. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked to you about in this video, feel free to send me an email, or you can write a post on the questions discussion thread, which is on the main page of your Schoology dashboard. I hope you all are doing well. Good luck with your first online discussion. Bye, everybody.